Amazing. All right. 3, 2, 1.
All right, hey, Laura Whitaker here, and we are at the ESP by the Sea beach trip, and we had a beautiful morning.
Yep.
But it's not so beautiful right now. So we're sitting here in the storage room on a freezer, and we're going to talk a little bit about what it means to be an ESP family. For those of you that don't know, we serve not just the participant, but the entire family. And I'm here with Gaby, and she is one of our ESP siblings of Mariah. So how did you first get involved with ESP, and tell me a little bit about your story?
Well, my sister started first back in 2019, and I didn't get involved till 2022. And my mom was kind of like, "Why don't you try out and see what ESP is like?" And I was like, "Okay." So then I finally was like, "Okay, I'm gonna try summer camp," and that's how I kind of got involved with everybody, and made new connections with the kids and the families, and it's just been a huge growing experience for me too.
I remember you this time last year at the beach trip.
Yeah.
And you just made all these connections with our staff and a lot of our interns, and it was almost like, duh, she should work with us. Like, she's been training her whole life to be one of our staff and volunteers, and then fast forward just a couple months and you are at summer camp.
Yeah.
And so talk a little bit about, like, what does it feel like to come into the ESP community when you've been through what you've been through with your sister? Kind of tell the quick version of the story of your sister and how you kind of supported her through that, and then how that gave you like a leg up at ESP as a volunteer and a staff member to come in and have experience with your sister.
Yeah. So basically, long story short, my sister had 2 brain tumors, one in 13 and 2015. And it was actually the chemo and radiation that made her become not paralyzed but disabled. And so we were kind of shut off from the world. Then mom didn't want to accept like my child was disabled. She just didn't want to have that label. And then when we finally got more comfortable with the population of ESP, it was so eye-opening. And so growing up with that, like, it was hard, but at the same time, it was amazing to see the other side of the world from what everybody else sees. Like, everyone just sees that surface of people.
Yes.
And I always saw people, who had a disability or whatever it was. I was like, I bet they're just so wonderful, and they have, such gifts, and just a sweet heart. And so since I was around that with my sister, I was used to it, and I was like, ESP just really is an eye-opener, and it's beautiful to see all of these participants come in, and just, especially during the summer, they have a blast.
Yes.
And it is beautiful. It's like, brings tears to your eyes sometimes.
Yes.
It's so amazing.
Yes.
And I love it. Like, I wouldn't want it any other way. Like, I think God had this for me for a long time.
How cool is that? I mean, the fact that you guys didn't choose this, it happened later in life, and you were given a community, and really we say a family.
Yeah.
I mean, ESP by the Sea is a family. Like, you're here and you see people with each other, and it is very much a family. And you guys, because of what happened to your sister, as hard as it was, you were given this family in ESP, and you guys have been such a sweet part of our family. I mean, they were amazing in the talent show. You should have seen them last night. They had mustaches on. They were hilarious. And Mariah is such a gem and a gift, and your parents are so amazing that we are better as a family because of you guys. And it's just an honor to watch our siblings come in and give and serve. They have been training for many years or their whole life to be at ESP, to see them come in and to teach us a few things sometimes, but also to be a part of something that makes sense. Their world suddenly may go from isolation to an entire family, bringing together a lot of what makes sense, and jobs and an opportunity to build friendships and relationships. And I know you've built long-lasting friendships at ESP, and it's really cool. And siblings are a big part of what we do and who we are. And I know our families rely on them as caretakers and caregivers, which is something that we haven't even talked about with this interview, is that's part of who you are, is an expectation to help caretake for Mariah, and later on in life to caretake for Mariah. And so because of ESP, we can be a part and lift a little bit of that burden for your family because of that. Well, anything else that you want to share?
Well, I was just going to say, having other siblings, not just me, and I haven't met too many, but I know there's some out there. It's nice to know that there's another population of siblings who have gone through the same thing. And it's not easy. It is not easy, sharing your story with somebody and trying to relate to maybe the same situation or something similar. So, but knowing that I've met a couple people who have had a sibling or do have a sibling in that same situation, just kind of brings me to like, okay, we're okay. There's other people. It's not just us. Like, there's more.
And it makes it more normal. The things that you feel and the things that you're going through and the pressure that you feel or whatever it is. Sometimes siblings feel like they didn't get as much attention as their sibling, and there's that void that's there. So to be able to be surrounded by people who have been through something similar is really cool.
Yeah, it's amazing. And being a leader finally on leadership staff, which is so exciting. I can't wait. I'm also nervous, but I'm excited. It's also a huge eye-opener. That way, because I am older than a few of the other counselors, and I want to be a leader for them. I want to set an example and be like, here's what I'm doing. I want you to, use me as like, dang, she's really good. Or she's
I want to be like that.
And I want to be that example for people.
Yeah. Well, part of our mission is activating the abilities of all.
Yeah.
And that's not just the participants that we serve, that's the families too, and that's our staff. And so being able to activate your abilities, your experiences that you've had, and now being on leadership, going from this awkward girl at ESP by the Sea to engaging with our staff and being like, oh my gosh, this is my place, to being on summer staff, and now having you here at ESP by the Sea this year, talking with me, being on leadership this summer. It's just, that is the example of activating the abilities of all, including our siblings, and that's what we're here for, is to activate the abilities of all. So thank you for being willing to talk with us and shed light to whoever's listening about what a sibling goes through and how they can better engage with the ESP mission.